Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Reese, Director of Department on Disability Services. Welcome to our monthly community forum. Before we get started, I just want to make an announcement about one change we have here at DDS. This will be the last month, although she may certainly join us in the future, that Charlisa will be facilitating this meeting. Charlisa has stepped up recently to become our supervisor of our Randolph Shepherd program, and Cheryl Bolden Wiggins now, who some of you may remember if you've been around a little while, who was my executive assistant up until Charlisa came, has come back to the agency. And so I will put Cheryl's email in the chat so that if people want to reach out with any questions about the forum, you can now reach out to Cheryl rather than Charlisa. If you reach out to Charlisa, she'll be happy to forward that on to Cheryl. So today we have three presentations. We have a couple presentations first by DDS. People may recall that we engaged in a process in the last year of, we had two person-centered organization working groups on sustainability. One of them for the Developmental Disabilities Administration and the other for the Rehabilitation Services Administration. And these two groups met from October through March. They met monthly. The DDA group actually started meeting more frequently than that because we had more work to get done and we wanted to meet our deadline of wrapping that up by March. And so today, Antoinette Alexander will present the work of the RSA Sustainability Group, and Bernitris Parker will present the work of the DDA Sustainability Group. So we will start with Antoinette, and I think Antoinette will be sharing her screen.
Are we good to go? Can everyone see the screen? Can I
Yes.
get a thumbs up? Excellent.
Yes.
So great afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Antoinette Alexander. I am the Operations Program Manager here at DDS. Today I want to take a few moments to walk you through the RSA PCO Sustainability Work Group, what it is, why it matters, and what's already changing because of it. So at its core, the work is about one question. Are we funding employment services the way they are actually delivered? And what we found is not quite yet. So let me briefly walk you through what we did. The RSA Sustainability Work Group was established to evaluate and recommend strategies to ensure the long-term sustainability of employment services delivered through the VR program. From September through March, RSA brought together staff, providers, leadership, and stakeholders to conduct a comprehensive review of RSA's current rate structure, which remains largely unchanged since 2015. We examined what it takes to deliver these services, how providers are being paid, and where those two things don't align, and what led us to one clear takeaway. Providers are delivering high variable community-based services, but are paid fixed amounts. In reality, they're absorbing costs like travel and indirect time, which is about 25% of their work. So what we have is a mismatch between the effort required to deliver services and how those services are reimbursed. To put that into perspective, we looked at how other states approached this. The work group conducted benchmarking across Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Delaware to assess rate methodologies and best practices. What we found was consistent across the board. All comparison states utilized an hourly or hybrid rate structure, and they account for travel and indirect time. The district is the only jurisdiction still operating under a fully flat rate model. So in many ways, DC is the outlier. And that comparison helped validate what providers have been telling us, that our system is out of step with how services are actually delivered. And that misalignment has real consequences. This leads to workforce instability, provider turnover, and reduced capacity. And most importantly, it makes it harder to serve individuals with higher or more complex needs, which also. So the question becomes, what are we doing about it? We took immediate action. On March 1st, 2026, RSA implemented a 25% rate increase to help stabilize providers and better reflect current cost. And more importantly, there were no workflow changes with that increase. Additionally, we launched the rate consultant phase April 1st, 2026, to build upon the work group's foundation by translating provider experience, stakeholder feedback, comparative state analysis, and operation review into data-driven, sustainable, and person-centered reimbursement models. That could include hourly or hybrid structures, incentives, and tiered support. I'll close with this. This work is about moving from a system that pays for tasks to one that supports outcomes. We've taken the first step with the rate increase, and the next phase will shape the future of RSA services. Thank you all for listening today, and we'll now transition to my colleague, Bernitris Parker, to provide an overview of the DDA PCO Sustainability Work Group.
Thank you, Antoinette. Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry, go ahead, Andy. As I wait for the slides to appear in the meeting, my name again is Bernitris Parker. I am the Medicaid Waiver Program Specialist here at DDS, and I will be reviewing the DDA PCO Sustainability Work Group outcome. Go to the next slide. The DDA PCO Sustainability Work Group was established to evaluate and recommend strategies to ensure the long-term sustainability of the home and community-based services waiver for the Intellectual Development of Disabilities Waiver Program. Next slide, please. As Andy and Antoinette both stated, the work group convened over several months to assess cost drivers, service delivery models, and other factors impacting waiver expenditures from September 2025 to March 2026. A primary focus of the work group was supported living services, which represent a significant portion of overall waiver spending. Additional areas we focused on included the level of need alignment, remote support services, assistive technology, rate methodology, and administrative processes. The workroom aimed to identify key cost drivers within IDD waiver, to evaluate the alignment between assessed needs and authorized services, explore cost-effective service delivery models, and recommend actionable strategies to ensure program sustainability. We had several key findings. One, again, was the supported living as a primary cost driver, which was a major contributor to our waiver expenditures per our fiscal year 2024 data. Supported living had the highest percentage of 54.89% of expenditures for waiver service costs, specifically for residential services, while all other waiver services listed here were less than 12% for the specific waiver service type. And just, I'll speak of a few: wellness, companion, and home supports, and host home, and periodic and residential rehabilitation services all were less than 12%. The current challenges that we face in supported living include bridging the gap between level of need scores and acuity-based staffing ratios, overstaffing due to incompatible roommate pairings, limited flexibility in our current rate structures, which I will speak more about as we move forward in this presentation, and risk aversion within supported living residential services that drive increased costs and contribute to the inability to clearly determine or justify how staffing ratios are selected in supported living settings. Other key findings were limitations of the level of need assessment. Although it is a very good tool, there are some limits as it does not fully capture medical, behavioral, and social complexities. It also requires additional documentation and justification to support staffing recommendations, and variability in how level of need assessments are conducted creates inconsistencies across the provider community. Another finding that we discussed was residential vacancies. Some of the concerns from the work group was that there's extended vacancies in supported living homes, the impact of vacancies on staffing ratios, and appropriate matching of individuals based on support needs. Another key finding was the underutilization of remote support services due to limited awareness and understanding, training gaps among providers and staff, misconceptions regarding effectiveness and safety, and resources needed to implement infrastructure. And the last key finding was administrative and process barriers. The recommendations from the work group include aligning rates with individual needs, to improve administrative processes, to include fostering individual independence, acceptance of appropriate risk should be prioritized within oversight practices as providers need clearer departmental support and encouragement to confidently implement less staff-intensive, independence-focused service models. Also, to expand remote support services and utilization of technology, which I will discuss further. Address residential vacancies. And although DDS has significantly reduced supported living vacancies, we continue to review and approve roommate matching processes for this issue. And also strengthening workforce capacity, which encompasses standardized LON training for providers and service coordinators, encouraging provider collaboration, particularly in remote support staffing models, and improve understanding of service authorization and documentation requirements. There were some topics that we discussed during the work group that are not recommended for implementation at this time, to include reintroduction of the shared living waiver service, immediate restructuring of supported living rates without first improving our assessment accuracy, and exploration of utilizing a different tool or make changes to the current level of need assessment tool. The next steps that we gathered to move sustainability forward for the IDD waiver include finalized supported living staffing models and rates. This includes establishing level of need aligned staffing tiers for periodic, basic, moderate, and intensive supported living services. Implement overnight staffing adjustments, which encompasses removing a sleep overnight staff from all supported living levels except supported living 1-to-1 based on utilization. Utilize remote support staff to cover awake overnight monitoring and assistive technology, to include bed shaking alarms and those of the like. To update staffing authorization forms and ISP documentation to reflect these changes, and educate providers and service coordinators on revised staffing requirements and documentation expectations. Next is to launch and evaluate a remote supports pilot. DDS currently is implementing a pilot program with over 100 participants to assess the effectiveness, the cost savings, and user experience of remote supports. Also to provide training for providers, staff, and families to ensure smooth adoption and proper documentation, and develop command centers and simulation environments to familiarize participants and staff with remote support technology. Also to approve alignment, to include reviewing roommate pairings and LON alignment to optimize staffing and reduce costs. To streamline administrative and approval processes, as mentioned in the recommendation of strengthening the workforce capacity. Implement data tracking to strengthen analytics. DDS will use data to track service utilization, serious reportable incidents, staffing ratios, LON changes, and cost trends. and continue to conduct comparative analysis between traditional supported living and remote support services to guide further decision-making. And lastly, stakeholder engagement and regulatory coordination, which includes continuing engagement with providers, families, and self-advocates throughout the IDD waiver process, and collaborating with DHCF and the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services to explore potential policy and regulation adjustments such as flexible house rate models. Moving forward, the DDA PCO Sustainability Work Group really came together to establish a strategic data-informed foundation to improve sustainability in the IDD waiver program. Central to this effort is the alignment of individual needs with appropriate staffing and service levels, alongside enhancing service delivery through remote support services and assistive technology to reduce barriers in residential services and administrative processes. This work is the initial phase of the broader transformation effort of sustainability in our waiver. With continued evaluation and stakeholder engagement and iterative improvements, we tend to continue to achieve long-term sustainability while we maintain high-quality supports for a person served under the waiver. And that concludes my presentation on the DDA PCO Sustainability Work Group outcomes.
Thank you very much, Antoinette and Bernitris. I've been
Thank you.
The chat as we've been going. If there are any questions, people could put them in the chat. Otherwise, our next presentation is by one of the participants in our remote supports pilot. Haj with Hope and Joy, I believe, is with us. Yes, there he is. And he will be sharing information about what the base looks like. You can describe this yourself, Haj, please. Thank you.
All right. This is Haj from Health and Joy Services. Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? All right. I know you got thumbs up and you're responding without talking. I feel your love. I get that. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. All right, great. So I'm getting ready to share a video. So if I can have permission to share a video, that'd be very helpful. But as we're doing that, I just want to say part of doing this presentation is really to provide update as far as it came and disappeared. Send it again. Okay. All right, I got it. So I'm reporting live from our remote center. Obviously, it's still pending, still building. This is a presentation to show how we're doing as being one of the members or the providers that's going through the pilot program right now. So this is our remote center. So now I'm getting ready to share a video just to give an update. FYI, this is not a remote support services training. It's not. I think that training was done before, and it's an ongoing, and it's going to be continued to be done by the assigned people. Today, my goal is just to give an update from a person-centered point of view, talk about the future of remote technology services from a DSP and a person-centered provider point of view, and also talk about our history of Health and Joy and how we benefited from remote and how we started and where we are right now, and create some excitement of everybody, hopefully to look forward to the future of remote. Let me know if there's sound coming on.
The future of
Is there any sound?
is here. Welcome to the Health and Joy
Yes.
where innovation, independence, and compassionate support come together. Remote supports is a service delivery model that uses assistive technology and real-time communication to support independence while ensuring health and safety. From our remote support center, trained professionals coordinate support, respond to alerts, and assist participants in real time. If support is needed, our remote support professionals assess the situation and coordinate the appropriate response quickly, safely, and respectfully. Everything begins with the person, their goals, preferences, routines, and comfort level. Technology is used to support independence, not replace human connection. Health and Joy is proud to help lead the future of Tech First Disability Services in Washington, D.C. At Health and Joy, we believe independence should be supported, not restricted.
Okay. All right. So thank you. First of all, special shout out to the voice of that video, or the voiceover. That's our CEO, aka my wife. Shout out to my wife, Kendra. But that was the future. That was a presentation to show the future of remote support services and how we should expect to receive it. You know, I guess you could call it a little bit of FYI informational training. As you can see in my background, we actually still working on the remote center right now. We got somebody here putting signs up and stuff up for us to be able to function. So who we are, Health and Joy remote team, this is us. We're building the future of supports. And as we build the future of support for remote services, we recognize that support services are evolving, as you can see in that video. And for most of you, you already have the knowledge and the experience, and you already have the info on remote supports. And I'm hoping, or I'm guessing, that you're still trying to learn some more. But just to give you an inside view, support services are evolving. Across the country, providers are searching for better ways to support independence, strengthen safety, and respond to workforce challenges. Well, for us at Health and Joy, we're blessed to be one of the three providers. Shout out to Holistic and RCM, one of the three providers who we are currently participating in this DDS pilot program, right? So as we are moving towards the future, we're building the future of remote support. And so when Health and Joy was selected to participate in these remote support services, we recognize that this is more than just a new service, right? This is a service that's been there in a way. And for some of us, we've been able to really maximize the potential of the service. So Health and Joy, one of the things that I wanted to share is our history. As we've been providing support since 2018, when the pandemic happened in 2020, as a new provider, we only had day services and we had in-home support services. And during that time, when everything shut down, day services, nobody was coming out, and in-home support services, obviously no family was allowing you to go into their home to provide any type of support. So for us, one of our bread and butter we benefited from is to be creative, to utilize the Appendix K and to maximize the remotes and technology services that we was able to do during that time. And so we managed to make something out of nothing, and to really back against the wall when you don't have any choice. Sometimes you have to go with what you know. And for us, we had two people that we could help during the pandemic at the time in 2020. And one of the people, he had a schedule. And I remember doing this presentation in 2020 during the forum. And I guess this is like a part 2, because during that time, we was able to show exactly how we are maximizing the potential and the opportunity of providing support for people remotely. And one of our in-home participants, when the pandemic started, all of a sudden his schedule got shut down. He had a healthy lifestyle, going to the day program Monday through Friday, getting picked up by his driver, and then in-home services in the evening. And all of a sudden it stopped. And he went through a situation where they thought he had COVID, but he didn't. He was just going through some anxiety situation and he got sick. So the team got together to put a plan and a schedule. And that plan and the schedule allow him to be able to still function, allow him to be able to still have a daily schedule where we were able to log in virtually and had a schedule for him consistently from the morning all the way to the afternoon. So he had consistency. And during that time, he was able to get back to his normal self. And that allowed him to be able to gain continuous skill building and active treatment, even through the pandemic and through virtual supports. And one of the success story that his mother actually shared during one of the ISP meetings, and if the service coordinator is here, they can confirm that the mother said, my son wasn't reading, but during this pandemic and the time that he was spending with different staff logging in and teaching him how to read, teaching him fitness and teaching him all these things, now he can read some words. And to me as a provider, that was the ultimate testimony right there. And that really encouraged us to continue to support people. And so we was able to do other services like art therapy, and we were supporting people virtually, and we was having parties every month with live DJ, also remotely, and we was doing weekly fitness programs. So all these things are things that were already there. So we're not building nothing new. We just emphasizing and enhancing what's already there. And so technology and compassion meets innovation. And for us, as we set up this remote center, like I said, it's still ongoing. And the hope is to do a walkthrough, open house once it's completed, so everybody will have the opportunity to get the chance to see how it's actually functioned in real life. And so right now is pending. I mean, it's almost complete. But what began as an empty office space is quickly becoming a technology-enabled support center. And every workstation that we have here is designed to allow trained remote support professionals to monitor and alert, conduct wellness checks, and conduct responses in real time, just like you saw in the video earlier. And so this center represents infrastructure, right? It represents innovation. It represents what DDS is trying to do. And honestly, all the providers out there, what we intend to do when we send out the intent letter and say we are going to be a provider. We talk that talk. Now it's an opportunity for us to walk the walk, right? And so the future of disability is in our hands. What we do with it is how we decide how we're moving forward. And so creating a future ready to support environment, right? Remote support is a service delivery mode that uses enabled technology and in real time and communication to support people remotely while making sure their health and their safety, which includes wellness check and communication devices and monitoring system, are all in place for these people. And as you can see, going from nothing or setting up something to building up tools and devices is going to help us to be able to reach this goal where it's person-centered and it's being delivered in a way that the person will receive it and encourage to really get it. Our remote support's designed around people, choice, and independence. So it's not something that we're just doing. It's a team thing. Just like any other ISP meeting, any other service, we respond according to the person's desire and the way the person want to receive the services. Everybody's capable to receive remote support services. There's levels to it. So based on the level of the person is how you're going to receive it. Some people may live in a supported living environment and they may only need monitoring for this amount of hours, and you can get that. Some people just need to be monitored whether or not they're still sleeping or they're still alive at night, and they can get those type of support. And some people just need somebody to check upon them. And those are the ones that may be out in the community 100% of the time. This is designed for the person, and it's around the person's person-centered plan. Obviously, it's innovation in action, and meaning that people who are currently receiving assistive technology, just because you receive assistive technology doesn't mean that you automatically can get remote support services. However, to get remote support services, you do need assistive technology authorization, right? Our pilot program is making progress because of the team and its supports. Obviously, Health and Joy, we have a great team of people led by our director, Cherie Young Sims, and also ongoing meetings with DDS, obviously in our partnership and making sure that active DDS collaboration, remote operation, compassion, innovation, workflow development, technology integration advancement, and sustainable support as we model the growth and where we're trying to get to. This is a testimonial, two testimonials video. One, a recent visit for one of people receiving support services within DDS who was very interested in learning about our remote support services and how, this is her response, and you guys can check it out.
This is the remote center. Help with joy. This is what I'm waiting for. Yeah. Come here. No problem. Yes, this is what I'm waiting. Oh, yeah.
Still, setting up. But the idea is 6 stations. Somebody will be sitting on one of these stations. Supporting. Obviously, this will be you, but the person will working with you and other people at the same time. In this station, audio devices, different type of devices to make sure your health and safety. It's kept. Like we're checking on you, we know your movements and everything. Yeah.
So, I guess I will be successful. Thank you, Help and Joy. Thank you so much.
See, the hope is for us all to be successful, right? The hope is for this person, not just this person, but other people, whether it's a challenging situation or a situation where that person just need support the way they envision it, right? They may not want you to be all up in their face throughout the day, right? So the remote support services is an opportunity for them to receive services the way they choose to. And then also, like I said, it's been there already. And depending on the level of function, depending on the level of the person, it can be delivered in a way where it can be appreciated, right? This is also another testimony of one of the families who benefited from what we did during the pandemic. And this is Ms. Rhoda's testimonial.
Join Help and Joy during the pandemic. There were no in-person, and we were fortunate enough to have. I mean, family and family. Thank some of the activities. It's a very because it has a vision, family direction, family structure. Very good.
So also that's a satisfied customer. And with those type of response, it's possible. So if there's any question mark, can this happen or is it possible? There's a success in remote support services, and Health and Joy as being one of the providers has been benefited from that, not just with our growth, but also satisfied participant who can really testify the benefits and the needs of support. So obviously to prepare that and to make sure the success is there, is investment in training, investment in equipment, investment in staff certification. These are all things that you will learn through the policies that are in place to make sure that we have the right people doing the right things. And we are not trying to replace or use technology to replace human connection. It's never, our strength is just maximizing the opportunity with remote to be able to meet human needs, right? Any questions, thoughts, comments, and feedback? Okay. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you for the time and opportunity. We will have a open house once this is complete, as soon as possible. And then obviously follow us and to get more update. Follow up with your service coordinator, give more information. We follow through with Health and Joy Services on our website and our social media. You see the ongoing progress of remote support services. Thank you, DDS, for allowing us the opportunity to participate and to share.
Thank you very much, Haj. As Haj said, we have 3 providers who are participating in the pilot. Near the beginning of the year, we had additional ARPA funds available, so we were able to quickly, based on the input we had gotten from our DDA sustainability group, we were able to offer support to some providers for the pilot. I was surprised and amazed. We actually received, I think, 12 really good proposals from different providers, and it was really challenging to identify the 3 that we were able to support. It's unfortunate that we couldn't have supported more people at this time, but we were limited by the amount of funds that were available then. We really do look forward to hearing more as things go forward. The providers involved in the pilot have a monthly meeting with each other and staff here at the agency. So we'll provide updates as this gets fully off the ground and services are being provided. And we can learn more about how well this is working for people. This was all that we had for today. I've not seen any comments in the chat. As always, our presentations will be available by next Wednesday on the DDS website. And if there is nothing else, enjoy your weekend, everyone. The rain seems to be finally over. We should have a sunny weekend. Time for the grass to dry that's been growing from all this rain this week. But I hope people are able to enjoy a nice weekend. And we will see you again on the 4th Friday in June, which is June 26th.